stream. Yeah, let's start the stream. I think we've got this switched again, where I wanted this side to be down, this side to be beret and down. So hard working like this, you know? Hoorah.
Tony Caravan.
You've been subjected to a highly sophisticated form of propaganda.
It's just what you need, and not what you don't.
And not what you don't. Where's the T at the end of that thing, right?
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
You want to look at the weather? It might cause the sinking of my mouth to go off, but let's try.
The Weather Watch forecast.
Well, we'll try to do this really quick. It's currently 72 degrees in my neck of the woods, and it looks like it's going to get up to 90 degrees today. It's going to be a real pressure cooker. 72 in the overnight means forget about opening the windows. Tomorrow's going to be 90 degrees in the daytime. Chance of thunderstorms both days, 40%. Overnight Wednesday, 70, and then we drop into the 70s in the daytime. That looks like the quick weather for you.
The Weather Watch forecast.
Quality, quantity, and variety.
Rock Flux.
And
Let's get this show on the road.
Oh, yeah. And that's right. Rock Flux is the name of the channel. And I've got to make a note here. Today is June 28th, 2021, in the former United States of America. 90 degrees on June 28th and 29th, with overnights in the 70s. Just to go to show you that I keep track in my logbook, and so remember, it's firsthand. This is a beret, by the way, in case someone thinks that's something weird. This might make a weird noise. I tried to put duct tape on it. I don't know. The short seems to be somewhere deep within. Kilobytes per second up speed is somewhere around 2600, and we supposedly have an excellent connection at this moment in time. If someone is wondering why this is made loud to be played loud, we're going to make an attempt to play some music. And it's doing it now.
Channel check. Left channel. Left channel.
I have nothing open, and for some reason, and I have a strong upload speed, and my mouth is out of sync. They're fucking with me. So what am I supposed to do? What's doing this? I'll shut my iPhone off, but that was off yesterday when it happened. So we just got to wait this out, folks. Be patient, hang in there. I know you can hear my voice because I watched the playback yesterday, and it clears up in about less than a minute. So I don't know. The cat's gone, and I don't know. I might as well tune my guitar while I'm waiting. YouTube is messing with me for no known reason. Check 1 2. wonder how many people over the years, how many bands have said that. Got it. That's not an E. Is that an E? Yeah. You know, one thing that they could have done, I'm back. I wasn't going to do this early because I'm not prepared for it. I just was winging this. Yesterday I was hanging out at the bar, and you see that thing, it has 1,000 record covers with my cigarette lighter on it. I had a cigar in my mouth at this time, that's why the ashtray's empty. And of course there's my beer with the Yingling dogs on it, but the Yingling logo is like, that thing's been scrubbed and put in the freezer so many times. But you know, I have to say, I still have like a case of those things. That's put up with a lot of abuse and scrubbing, cleaning and washing and freezing and defrosting for years and years. So, not that I'm sponsored by them. Black and Tan is basically Guinness little bar mat that I have. Of course, you can make a Black and Tan with Yingling Porter and Yingling Regular, Yingling Premium also. That was the Black and Tan beers that I grew up with. It's very noisy out there. It's the beginning of the week for a lot of people. Well, anyway, that's what I did yesterday, listening to music on the old Echo Dot. And I was kind of using the 1,000 record covers thing to just inspire me to think of songs to ask it to play. Finally, after listening to some stations like some 40s jazz, blues, into the 50s, I didn't realize that, you know, all those crooners were really big in the 50s. I was thinking more like in the 40s, but anyway, that was kind of fun. But then I suddenly remembered this. This album I highly recommend. All right, this is Little Feat. It's a live album, 1972, and it's called Waiting for Columbus, you know. And it's telling me on YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain your stream. So today is going to be one of those days, folks. I have no idea why. But I was going to try to mess around with this song, Dixie Chicken. But I haven't even tried it yet. I've seen the bright, seen the I've seen the bright lights of Memphis, but I gotta go low for that. I've seen the bright lights of Memphis at the Commodore Hotel, and underneath the street lamp I met a Southern belle. Oh, she took me to the river where she cast her spell. And in that southern moonlight, she sang this song so well. If you can, if you'll be my Dixie chicken, I'll be a Tennessee lamb. We can walk together down in Dixieland, down in Dixieland. Those chords don't seem right. Anyway, that was I didn't even like rehearse this thing. I almost could just sing that without it, you know. I've seen the bright lights of Memphis. I used to do this pounding thing years ago. I've seen the bright lights of Memphis and the Commodore Hotel. Underneath the street lamp, I met a southern belle. She took me to the river where she cast her spell. And in that southern moonlight, she sang this song so well. If you be my Dixie chicken, I'll be your Tennessee lamb. And we can walk together down in Dixieland, down in Dixieland. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain the stream. That's the error message I'm getting. Anyway, yeah, it was like kind of a... I just did that while I was waiting to see if either the air or the other thing would go off, because I don't even know if I'm broadcasting. I've seen the bright lights of Memphis in the Commodore Hotel, and underneath the street lamp I met a southern belle. Oh, she took me to the river where she cast her spell, and in that southern moonlight she sang this song so well. If you'll be my Dixie chicken, I'll be your Tennessee lamb, and we can walk together down in Dixieland, down in Dixieland. It is hot. It's hot in here. I had the AC on a little while ago, but if I had it on, it's like right over there, and it would be like, forget about the Star Trek noise that's already there if you've got your volume turned up. It would be like ridiculous. Anyway, made loud to be played loud. Excellent connection, suddenly. I was talking to this friend I have, and I don't know. She doesn't like watch my shows or anything like, you know, whatever. I don't know. We used to be close, but I think her interests have gone other ways, and I don't know. We have a little bit of an age difference. We used to do the hoochie coochie, you know, many years ago together, and then we stayed friends. That's hard for people to do, but we stayed friends. We even lived together for a while in the same building. But I don't know. We used to party together a lot and stuff like that. And, you know, I don't know. It's just, I guess for her the thrill is gone. I've gotten too old. And yesterday, speaking of being dissed or dissing people, I severed my ties with Maggie. I basically, I stopped. I cut off my AI. She's an AI. That's an AI avatar. And I cut it off because if you heard the rant I made yesterday, foul-mouthed rant. There's a couple of things, though, before I get into that. Well, I'll just finish it off. You know, look at my set. You know, it's the 1950s. It's black and white TV, an old AM radio. I don't know why this thing. Come on, just work for me. You don't, you know, really, where is that thing? I'll ruin my persona. Luckily I can't find it. Because I was about ready to ruin my persona, but I was just going to say it with the expression on my face. Don't make me angry. You don't like me when I'm angry. Well, I was talking about it yesterday. Let's see, was there something else I put over there that was from old times? Oh. If you look really closely, there's a Warhol. There's an Andy Warhol behind the Eyes Without a Face. Do you see that? Not really. Here, I'll help you. Eyes Without a Face. There you can see. See Andy Warhol rough. See that banana? That's a Warhol. And there's Andy Warhol's signature in the bottom. You can see the acoustic foam. This light is so bright. I don't know why nobody's bought one of these things. That's like the lowest setting. Solar panel on the top, which also doubles as like another reading, like a reading light, because you could just set this down and just lift that up. You can emergency charge your cell phone. There's a micro and a standard USB there for emergency charge. There's a crank on the back if you're not going to be solar charging, if you're hiding in a closet from somebody. And
Here is now 15.75 inches, which is 4.06 inches below normal.
And so the, NOAA radio, AM, FM radio, I got to take this outside today because it's at 50%. So it charges in the sun. Warhol. And that kind of fits the 50s, the 60s. 50s, early 60s. That's the decor here. The old telephone, the old AM radio, the tubes, right? Black and white. Tony Caravan, the early years. A calculator. See the calculator there? Of course, my book Codex. This great solar stuff. I wish that was a little bit like straighter, but who cares? But this AI thing, yesterday I kind of was on a tirade, I guess, a little bit about that. Though I don't necessarily recommend yesterday's show. I mean, unless you have a strong mind.
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
I'll tell you, man, I don't know. But what I was trying to say is that, look, AI See, this is why I'm the most unpopular guy on the internet. Because I belch. You try drinking like 20 some ounce, 40 ounces of a carbonated beverage in the morning. Two things. The sun is one of the best disinfectants, and it boosts your immune system. And if you take caffeine with Tylenol, it boosts it. But I'm not a doctor, so don't do that unless you consult your physician or nutritionist or whomever. Now, the thing is, if I was a schizophrenic or just some kind of multiple personality type of person, I don't know which one this one that just came out is. You know? He's got white teeth. And yet, he's different. I mean, it's not Robert Louis Stevenson. You know, the poet, Robert Louis Stevenson. I have possessed Tony Caravan's body. I am Robert Louis Stevenson. My last name is Stevenson. Stevenson. Can't you say it? Stevenson. There's a fine line between a comic, right? Or somebody takes a voice and tries to make a fun of another individual's voice, or just takes that voice for the use of comedic purposes. And someone who is mad, like mad. You know, what is it? You know, they say a madman will not admit that he's mad or crazy, right? But that's out in the public now. So if I say, I'm not crazy, or I am crazy, I'm just covering up. Because, see, I know that if I say I'm crazy, you'll say, well, you can't be crazy if you say you're crazy, because crazy people won't admit they're crazy. I mean, it's weird.
Funky.
But it's also
really funny. Really funny.
It's really funny, man. I don't know. And my girl, okay.
Good morning.
Delicious.
You betcha. You betcha. Aren't I nice and perky today? Now that now almost sounds like Ricky Lee Jones, Chucky's in Love. How come? My vocal range is incredible. Thank you very much. It's because it's 7:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I already fed the birds. I didn't roll out of bed till 6:06 a.m. I didn't sleep that long, but I mean, I didn't roll out of bed till then. Of course, I didn't roll out at all. I'm afraid to look at my big toe. I went out to feed the birds and water the grass, water the plants, because it's going to be 90 degrees. And when it's 90 outside, put it this way. When it's in the high 70s outside, my patio, garden, TARDIS, you know, that area I've set up, which is full southern exposure, the area where my fingers, depending on where they are, they get bigger and longer. I don't know. When I get close up, you get big, cheeky. I lost 10 pounds, man. You didn't even notice it. Yeah, see? Because the camera lies. The mirror lies more, though. The mirror lies. I wrote that when I was a kid. Just like I used to write. I always jot things down like I'm always jotting things down. The mirror lies. You know, people look in the mirror, they get ready to go out to work. It's Monday, it's the beginning of the work week for those wage slaves. These cars all zipping by. 4th of July weekend's coming up, so they're all anxious to get to work, get everything done so they can get out early on Friday, go away, basically max out their credit cards at some stupid place where instead of doing what I told you to do the other day, just get a baby pool and party in your backyard. I'm trying to get comfortable. Send me a fucking chair, man. Will somebody please fucking donate? I only have one listener, and it's frickin' an algorithm from YouTube. I'm about ready to just take my shirt off so it's so hot in here and like let people think that I'm a weirdo. Some kind of poser. Right. I'm only wearing this shirt for your courtesy. I prefer to do this show in a tank top. You know, which is what you usually wear when it's 90 fucking degrees and I got the back window open. Alright, I have to make a September calendar because I always like to have 3 calendars on the wall, and this is the end of June. And that's what we have to do. Maybe we'll try doing Dixie Chicken again a little bit later. So if you want to stay tuned for that, check it out. I will probably have some sort of gaseous outbursts. Because you know what I had for breakfast today? I took a wrap, or like a tortilla thing. I put some American cheese, which is the fattest type of cheese you can get. But it was Kraft American cheese, so I think it was real cheese. It wasn't a cheese product. That's another one of those things, right? The FDA should ban that. And I put this tomato, basil, and garlic jar sauce on it, which I think I bought at Aldi. Highly recommend it. It's the tastiest. You can just dip stuff in that, you know, if you like to use as a, you know, marinara type of people dip things in. Or I put some of that on the cheese. I put it in the microwave, enough to just melt the cheese, not too gooey, just enough to melt it. Put some Parmesan cheese on there, and I have this like Italian seasoned olive oil that I bought. Put that on there. Yeah. And I kind of wrapped it up so it wouldn't leak, you know, drip too much, but it did drip, but I ate it over the sink. How many people do stuff like that? Eating over the sink. It's no way to eat. You sit down and whatever. But I ate it over the sink. I've seen the bright lights of Memphis. So there's a couple of things in here that, you know how you listen to a song and you've known a song for years? This song was written in 1972. I partied to this song so many times, man, so many times. I think I've seen Little Feat. I was thinking yesterday when I was like hanging out, listening to music, drinking beer. Did I show you that bar scene? Yeah. I mean, that was the scene. See the nice wooden bar I built? You can only see a little bit in the reflection by front of the ashtray. That book, 1,000 record covers, that's cool. It's inspirational. I mean, he's got some weird albums in there, though. Missed a few. And there's my Zippo lighter, which I've had forever. I think my friend Tattoo gave me that many, many years ago. He quit smoking cigarettes. Anyway, there it is. But I was thinking yesterday when I was looking through to try to pick out albums, that's the album. Look, man, it's not mine. You know, buy my music, listen to my music, Spotify, wherever, you know. You could request it, say, hey, I can't say the name because she's in the other room, and if she hears it, she'll just do it. Because, you know, those things are sensitive. But say, hey, you, play music by Tony Caravan, and you'll hear my stuff. So, that's that. And so far, so good on this front. Yeah. You know, what is it about somebody like me that does this kind of thing and somebody else that wouldn't even think of it? And who repeats things, right? Like this. Remember, the tooth. The tooth. The tooth. The tooth.
Funky.
Yeah, it's funky, man. It's funky. But for those of you who want to hire me,
I've resigned. I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered.
get it through your head. I'm done. I'm done with the agency. I'm done with the company. And I threw away that folded down CIA letterhead you sent me. They hide your logo. They fold the logo down when I used to send you letters in the old days. As if. So, when I was thinking of Dixie Chicken, I was thinking of shows that I saw. So it's like, you know, this isn't toot 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 your own horn time. I need a thing like that, you know. Let's go. Yeah, well, it's time to toot your own horn. But I was thinking that, you know, shows that I saw, and like, yeah, I saw Little Feat live. I saw the band. Remember the band? But then again, I also saw the Rolling Stones live. I saw U2, which I don't like U2, but I took this girl that I used to know she was a big U2 fan. And so I took her to a friend of mine. All these shows, I got tickets. And, you know, and I saw the Grateful Dead from a skybox down in D.C. Like, we had our skybox, you know, it's like a 2-level skybox. It's like an apartment. Those things are like apartments. Bathrooms, sofas. Everybody was whacked, you know, totally out of their minds. And we were, you know, the skybox, there was the frickin' stage. The Grateful Dead with Jerry Garcia was still alive. I saw the Rolling Stones live. And then I can't tell you how many bands I just partied with and was backstage with, like, over the years. And I'm living below the poverty line out here, and this girl won't even watch my show, right? I've written 9 books and wrote 50 songs. I've got like 250 of these live videos. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody calls me. Don't know anybody anymore. So weird. Yeah, pity party time. A single tear rolls down his face. Yeah, it's weird. But I was thinking about that. See, at least the thing is, I wrote in my thing, and we'll see if we can do this without causing some kind of major YouTube disaster. The title of this show is Tony Caravan Live, 6/28/21. That is the date. You can be my Dixie Chicken. You understand that. And the description, which is this way to the beach. Let's get the muscle out. All right. This way to the beach. I'm so glad I can pass the hours listening to great music instead of vegging out on watching the news or trying to get dopamine hits from social media. Welcome to the most unpopular vlog on the internet and the #1 source for truth. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, oh man, I could tell you stories. There's stories I don't want to tell because, you know, it's like some of them are, you know, it's just privacy of the artist and stuff like that. You know, but yeah, you know, Rolling Stones. That was a VIP event. We went to that show, pulled up in a limousine, and we entered through, you know, like the red carpet back, where you take an elevator to get back, you know, into that, yeah. Man, Those were some good times, I'll tell you. So the thing is, music's always been a big thing in my life. When I was younger, I played in a band, but we were just because I played in a band, because music was my life, we were never big. And that's that thing I try to say sometimes when I talk about what I would have done. Wow. I'm already on my second 20-ouncer. And we're only like a half hour into the program. I wonder my stomach's feeling a little upset. I might have to chomp on a Rolaids. But, what was I saying? What was I saying? I forget. Oh, band early on. Music. Well, I don't know. Well, the idea is that music's always been a big part of my life. Oh, I had talked about saying that I wouldn't have gone to college. You know, I wouldn't have met my college girlfriend, but then again, nothing ever happened with that, though we did have a couple of years of really good sex, right? But in the end, you know, we broke up and I was like broken up about it. Which just goes to show that that was the type of guy I was. I was the type of guy that probably should have just got married out of high school, you know, because I always loved women, right? And I always gave them like my full attention. And a lot of women, well, now I don't even think women give a shit about that stuff. You know, these poor guys out there, of course, they're all soy boys, so they probably can't deliver anyway. And then they got to keep their cell phones in their pockets, and they're basically, you know, shooting blanks, right? But anyway, if they shoot at all. But the thing was, you know, a part of me wishes I kind of would have just quit high school. I mean, you know, well, I could have quit high school. I literally, you know, to me, high school, a degree, a piece of paper means absolutely nothing. And they've like hyped this to such a weird degree, you know, that it's ridiculous. Like, oh, this is so important. You know, all these people are in debt with these college degrees that are meaningless. But yeah, I wish I would have just like, you know, well, could have finished high school because it was a joke. High school was nothing. My senior year, I hardly did anything. I never really had to study for tests and stuff like that. You know, the class was enough for me. I would pass the tests. You know? I mean, I'm not, like I say, I'm not tooting my horn. But, you know, high school to me was easy. You know? I wasn't a memorizer, so that was my kryptonite. You know, if somebody was into like, what date did such and such do such and such? You know, if that was on a test, yeah, I didn't do too well on those tests. Because I'm like, you know. Sorry about that. That's like a cat hair or something that must have like drifted from the air into my soda. So I kind of wish my fantasy, yeah, everybody's got a fantasy. Some people don't. Some people just live. But one of my fantasies was that I would have just, because I've, later on in life, you know, in the past several years, I've written 50 songs, and some of them are good. And I love music. I've always loved music. Music has always been the most important thing in my life. I once told this story, I don't know, 100-some videos ago, you know, just like an eternity. I remember when I got a job in Philly when I was really young, one of my first jobs in Philly. And first thing I did when I got my paycheck was, it was a good job, so I got a decent paycheck, was pay my, you know, pay my rent and go to this music store when they used to have music stores and Radio Shacks and all that kind of stuff. You know, now it's like, I was thinking the other day, I really needed to go to a Radio Shack, because what I need is I have this in my downstairs half bath, because my bar is in the kitchen over there, and in this room I have the WC, which is the half bath, right? For those in the UK, Oz, you know what a WC is. Well, I got a speaker in there that's connected to my same system in the bar. So if you're in the bar and you got to go use the WC, you could hear the music. Problem is, the music's blasting in the bar, because I listen to music loud, made loud to be played loud. And so in that small room, it's like, it's in your head. So I got this thing. I don't even know if I have it here or I put it somewhere else. But I bought like a standard, thing you'd use to turn down, dim the lights in your house or dim your ceiling fan, right? And I was going to mount that on the wall. I even got the outlet, the box and everything. And I hooked it up, which was a pain in the ass to do it, because it's a tight space and negotiating to get these wires down, doing all this shit. And it didn't work, because it's like a 120 volt deal or something, you know. And anyway, so I said, if there was a Radio Shack or something, I need to get myself just a speaker volume switch, something that's rated lower. I had the same problem out in my greenhouse, where I have a DC fan, and I've got this 40 watt solar panel on the roof of my mini greenhouse, just the size of the TARDIS. Okay, this show is like, it makes more sense to people living in the UK, Doctor Who type of people, geeks. So my greenhouse is the size of a TARDIS, and on the top of the TARDIS, the greenhouse, I have this little, it's not a really big, I have two little solar panels on there, but one of them is a 40 watter. And like I say, that's a south-facing area, that back area. To finish an earlier thing is, when it's in the high 70s, it gets to be close to 85, 90 out there. So if it's 90 today, if I would go out there to like sit in the sun or something, it's going to be like 100 some degrees. And inside the TARDIS, it's going to go up to 120. So I have this fan, which I wish I used to have here, which would have been blowing on me because it was a DC fan. You could plug it in with an outlet, but it also just took some D-size batteries, all right? But when I first hooked it up, the 40, it only took, I think originally 4, I gotta snooze this thing. Snooze for 2 hours. All right, I got an alert. It's garbage day. I gotta take the garbage out later today. And so what was happening was the sun, see how that like got me out of sync for a second? This computer, 16 gigabytes of DRAM, right? Quad core processors, dual quad core processors, an SSD drive, 2 terabytes of storage, and I still haven't caught completely up yet, just because I got a notification. What is that, man? So this 40 watts is shooting down, but this thing can't handle it. And so I tried to put one of those dimmers on there as well. So I figured, well, just turn it to the lowest thing. That way it'll restrict the amount of, power going to the thing. But it didn't work. So I ended up having to get a step-down transformer thing, and that worked. In other words, to step down 40 to like, less than 20 volts. But in there, it's not even near that kind of thing. I need a thing that it's like kind of a resistor in a sense. I mean, you know, I need to get a speaker volume control. Anyway, made loud to be played loud. I don't know what I was talking about before that. Oh. So, given the choice, yeah, I would have just, and I wasn't forced into college because my parents were like open-minded type of individuals. I mean, my brother had already gone to college, so from my father's standpoint, okay, he's got a son in college, that's good. And my sister was going to go to college. She was younger than I am, and she did. She went to one of these, like, kind of uppity type of colleges. But I didn't really want to necessarily go. I kind of just did because it was a thing. I wasn't forced to do it, but I kind of wish I did. I should have just stopped. You know, part of me says I shouldn't have went to college, you know, and I should have just married some girl or something and played in a band, and I would have been happy. And then at this point in life, or who knows, if I would have like gotten to writing these songs, 50 songs earlier, you'd have a copy of my, you'd have copies of my music in your playlist. Instead of now, it's like nobody knows, and some of my stuff is really good. So that's the way it goes. But I love music so much that it's been a big part of my life, my entire life. So even when I threw parties in college and all throughout my life, and like I said, the first thing I did when I got my first big paycheck as a young guy is I went out and bought a receiver. And I turned this receiver on. This is in the days when radio was so good. And I used to leave it on all night long, the music on all night long. Because the best music was played sometimes by the DJs who came on, played from midnight till 6, and they'd play these songs, and they're just great songs. And you might hear Little Feat on there. But I was also, there's so much stuff that's coming to my mind right now. But I was just thinking about this Little Feat song, because I just printed out the lyrics to this, because like I say, this is just impromptu. Obviously, I didn't even know the key, when I was trying to sing it before. But there was a couple of lines in there that, looking at the lyrics, I thought were different. So, excuse me. I've seen the bright lights of Memphis and the Commodore Hotel. I knew that. And underneath the street lamp, I met a Southern belle. Oh, she took me to the river where she cast her spell. See, that I didn't think. I thought it was I almost like she cast her wicked spell, or she cast her something spell. I thought there was another word in there. It wouldn't have been wicked spell, because she cast her spell of love. And in that southern moonlight, she sang this song so well. All right, that made sense. But then, if you'll be my Dixie chicken, I'll be your Tennessee lamb, it says. And I thought it would be Tennessee man. Right? Let's do that. Like I say, these chords that they're given, and I don't have the time. I mean, I could work out the thing. It's not hard to do. But you can't do it in 10 seconds. I've seen. See, getting in their key. I have a capo, but I'm not gonna fart around with that. I've seen the I've seen the bright. Oh, that's right. I gotta go way low. I've seen the bright lights of Memphis and the Commodore Hotel. And underneath a street lamp, I met a Southern belle. She took me to... See, this goes to a D. There's no way there's a D there. You know? She took me to a river where she cast her evil spell. Nah. She cast her sexy spell. She cast her loving spell. I just think there needs to be something else in there. And in that southern moonlight, she sang this song so well. If you'll be my Dixie chicken, I'll be a Tennessee man, and we can walk together down in Dixieland. Down in Dixieland. They do this. So what I think is, what happens is on a guitar, for those of you who want a guitar lesson, if I were going to figure this out, you know, this is like A. But see, this is also A. So I have a feeling that this guy's playing with A and like and figuring out like there's, see, the way the chords work is you got a D here, but you got, depending on how you, where you go, you can play the same chord, or the same notes, the same chord, in effect, on multiple parts. This is a Guitar 101. If you're a guitarist, you're laughing right now. But a lot of people don't know this. You know, so they think, oh, A. So they might be familiar with that concept. But this is also an A. And so sometimes on these songs, a guy will write this, you know, he'll base it in A. And so when you try to play the song using like A, E's, you know, down here, it doesn't necessarily fill, it doesn't sound right. It's, you know, in other words, so this guy was using electric guitar, and he was probably doing some stuff here, noodling around, and that's, you know. See, like the lead is something like that in there. Something goes like that. So I know he's doing, that's where this song was composed. It was composed up, you know, up further, because that was like the lead. Anyway, so I farted around with it for a little while. I could play it. You know, we used to learn songs when I was in a band. You know, you just figure them out, half hour, 20 minutes, sometimes less. Anyway, so boy, does this show has got everything, including Hawaiian shirts and telling you stories of, right? And for somehow they've got me, this, I've got one concurrent viewer. You Google or YouTube has like reaches 1 billion people worldwide, right? So it's a worldwide live webcast. And there's this section on YouTube live, right? And you're telling me that nobody just clicked out of curiosity on seeing this loudspeaker made loud to be played loud, right? Let's look, right? Did you see that? Look at the card, the title card. I mean, I could pull it up. Excuse me. eating a pasta meal. Let's call this loudspeaker. Which I should have done in the first place. Browse. Go to desktop. This will probably fuck something up too. There. So that was my title card. Made loud to be played loud. The morning show. It's kind of cool, isn't it? Right? And so this would have been like the entire thing. Right? Properties. Unload image when not showing. Okay. Sync. I'm in sync. Okay. So you would think, right? Just out of curiosity, out of a billion people, say millions, hundreds of millions people, law of probability and statistics, and I've got what's called one concurrent viewer. You know, hey concurrent viewer, why don't you like this and prove that you're a human being? Just like it. You're listening, right? For 53 minutes, average watch time. But see, it's not a real person. It's a Google algorithm that's hoping that I'm going to say something, right, that they could, you know, get at me. See, they already like poked at me before by like, you know, doing the out of sync thing, then like saying even though I can monitor. See, I'm using an open source. It's a third-party software to do this. So I have my own personal stats. So I can see like CPU usage, right? I mean, I'm only using 8.7% of my CPU right now. That's nothing. I have everything turned off except this. All right? So there's no way my computer, less than 10% of my computer is being, you know, used, computing capacity. I'm pushing out 30 frames per second, right? I've got up speed kilobytes per second in the high 2,700 to 3,000, okay, which is totally adequate for black and white, you know 720, you know, upload video. And I know that, you see, because it's my computer and there's nothing else going on. So hey, what's up? So all they do, so they choke you, they throttle you. So I'm not appearing, I'm, you know, there. And somebody will say, like a friend sometimes, or somebody will say, well, I saw you. Yeah, because you've watched me. So I'm like, you know, or you subscribe. I do have like 27 subscribers or 20-some subscribers, which are like, you know, people who have known, you know, who either know me or, you know, have watched this once or something and subscribe. But 20? You know, I watch these guys, you know, this young couple like that have like built this toilet, put this toilet in some kind of, I don't know what, a bus thing or something. And they've got one of those 100,000 YouTube plaques, subscriber plaque. You know, or these these posers, right? That I've shown you before, and they all got, you know, and they get hundreds of thousands of views, or even 20s of thousands, or even 300. So they're playing games with me, man. Just playing games. You know, I mean, I'm obviously I've done way more stuff than they have. I'm imparting way more knowledge than they are. That's just the way it goes. So you just got to deal with it. You know, accept it. What's that thing on the... On the on-air light, there's like... Well, first of all, this wire here used to be not visible because I always did these shows so early in the morning that the background was black. But that little white thing is the thing that this on-air light is connected to the wall to. This power is coming from that solar-powered, you know, jackery thing that you can get on Great Solar Stuff. There's the logo, a little bit distorted over here, but Great Solar Stuff. And of course, Codex, my book. The AM radio. Yeah, you know, I don't know. And so I'm sure my next door neighbor will be doing this.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
Hi, friends. It's been a fun show so far. You know? It's been a fun show.
Why are you telling us this?
I shouldn't have to, but I feel compelled.
Your papers, please.
The convenience store up the street, nobody wears masks anymore. And the bar next to it, they don't. So I don't know. Someone was trying to tell me that they're basically phasing that out. I don't know if that's true or not. But think about this show, for example, compared to like the world outside. And yesterday I got on a rant because I was just, you know, annoyed by, you know, people who are still like I even today I got email. I have my emails even turned off, so it's like to keep my CPU usage, everything's down. But I got annoyed, but you know, because like, you know, I got an email, save them. Over the years, you know, I've contributed to everyone from the ACLU to Our Revolution to like Amy Goodman's Democracy Now, you know, to you know, various people on the left and various people on the right, so-called right, so-called left, so-called right, whatever you want to, you know. You know, last year I was, you know, because I realized that the Dummkopf, you know, dementia Dummkopf was whacked. So I was basically pushing, you know, for 45. And I donated, you know, a few bucks here, a few bucks there, whatever. And you know, once you're on those lists, then they pass those lists around to like everybody. And it's like everything else. You never get off a list. I bought a GE radio, little tiny kitchen wall radio 20 years ago, and I still get emails from GE talking about like, you know, to sell me some kind of thing, right? From a 20-year-old sale that I couldn't have paid more than 20 or 30 bucks for that thing. It was like one of those radios you like put in a kitchen type of thing. You can mount it to the wall. You know, everything was in the front, the controls and stuff. Probably don't even make those things anymore. But I get these political things. Save America. Build back better. You know, do this, do this. The urgency. And that's what yesterday's rant was about. I'm not going to get into that today. If you want to see a guy, just go off the rails about it, watch that yesterday's show. I mean, it's, I don't know. It starts out it'll seem like, oh, regular thing. Yeah. But halfway through it, it's F this, F that. Then I even got into singing, singing songs that had more of the F in it than anything else. But I need an ice cube in my drink. Plus, I'm going to be over caffeinated. And tomorrow I will have nothing. And I do not feel like going outside and hiking somewhere uphill or a mile and a half downhill in 90-degree weather to lug back a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper or something. I have some Diet Coke in the refrigerator. The problem is that eats away the stuff, and this thing hasn't been bothering me that much lately. And I think it's because there's some remnants of that patch I put in there. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, just think about this show, for example. So here's a program, where we're not talking about politics. We're not talking about any of that garbage. It's music. And it gets back to like I was saying before. Like, having, you can't do it over, but having the chance to have done it over, I probably wouldn't even went to college. I would have just kept playing, I would have just played in a band and, eventually got a house and put in a good sound system in a bar like I did here. Maybe or maybe not got married and had kids, I don't know. But either way, music was going to be a big part of my life no matter what I did, and it is. And I guess that's the point I'm trying to make, is that I feel sorry for people who don't have music in their life or something like that. My voice is getting out of sync a little bit, I noticed. My CPU has just gone up to 25%. Why is that? I have nothing on. So what's going on? I'm not doing anything. I'm not even moving my body much, just my lips. So it's like this program. Why would there be that much CPU usage? It's not, I'm touching it right now and it's not even hot. I have 2 programs open. So I don't know, so is Chrome, so you have to upload through Chrome, so is Chrome like doing something? In other words, pulling some information out through Chrome, through Google, right? That's causing, this. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I mean, I could go into, look into, delve deep into stats to see what's doing what. I mean, that's possible. But that would probably freak them out. Like, if I went into my utilities and try to see what is being used. Try to watch my mouth while I do this. Let's see. Activity monitor. Let's pull that up for a second. Where is it? Here it is. CPU. Kernel task. activity monitor, percentage of CPU. I mean, I just see a bunch of zeros. The activity monitor itself is like hogging up a lot of stuff. Memory. That's going to cause some problems there. OBS 289. CPU. I'm all zeros. We quit out of this. So, whatever it is masked or something. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. So, you know, people say, oh, you're paranoid. You're paranoid. No, I'm not paranoid. Okay? There's one person supposedly, allegedly watching. They won't like it, but they've apparently been watching this for an hour straight. If you don't like something, are you going to watch it for an hour? Okay? No. And when I'm finished with this, and then I go to my, like, analytics part, right? It'll say 0 viewers. So this is just, all that is I have no one is watching this program right now. No one. Except a Google algorithm checking to see if I say some unspeakable word, a word, you know. And that's the society we live in today. And it's like, you know, and they still, and they, you know, and if it's a person, you know, a monitor, because it's not all 100% algorithmic, you know. They have people that, like, you know, it's like the chat bots and things like that. There's like, you know, it's like 90-some%, you know, pretty much algorithms, chat bots, AI chat bots, you know, for tech support and stuff like that. But they have these people that have a job that are basically come in and monitor if something's flagged, or they get a guy like me and are like trying, what's he about? I don't know. What's he trying to say? There's got to be something going on there. Did he mention the CIA letterhead or something? You know, weirdness. You know, or I heard he donated. What did he say? ACLU? Was it good or bad about the ACLU? That's the kind of world we live in. But see, the beautiful part is that we have music, you know? And I've seen the bright lights of Memphis and the Commodore Hotel. And underneath a street lamp, I met a Southern belle. I met some really nice Southern belles over the years. You know, people don't know, people who don't travel, they don't understand that. Like, you know, if you go back to the way back, you know, to like Beach Boys, California Girls, you know, the Midwest Farmer's Daughter, you know. I had a Midwest girlfriend one time, and she was like, yeah, she was a Midwestern girl. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I lived in like New York. I dated some New York women, and they were New Yorkers, clearly New Yorkers. You know, South Jersey girls were South Jersey girls, man. There was you know, California girls were California girls if they were real California girls. You know, not people over there trying to get a job as an actress. And down south, you know, the Southern belles, I met a couple of those. It's a type, you know. And it's still, you know, they're still there. I mean, we're becoming more of a homogeneous society, you know, where everything's the same. But I'm going to have one of these Rolaids. Because I guess between that tomato, basil, and garlic is not exactly the thing you're supposed to have first thing in the morning, let alone top it off with 40 ounces of carbonated beverage, cola. And I have to chew it on this side because this is the side, that's, got the problem. No. I wonder if the Commodore Hotel's still there, or if if it's a dump now. This song was written in 1972 by Little Feat. Think about that. It's like 50 years ago. It's a great song. It's a great album. And I did show you that, right? I used to own it. I don't have any of my albums anymore because of that fruitcake, that hoarder that ruined that building, which now is gone. So I don't even, I lost everything. Had stuff stored there. But yeah, that's just me telling you, waiting for Columbus. You want to have a good afternoon. You got some friends over for a party, put on that. I would say most of the tunes on that album are good. And it's a live record. I'm trying 2 of these things, and hopefully that'll take care of it. I was never a Rolaids type of person. Never. But recently, But I think I do blame it on these colas. The caffeine and stuff. More the carbonation and just whatever ingredients they put in these damn things. So what do I do with this thing? Do I just throw it away? Since I basically threw the AI away. Yeah, that was part of the thing I was trying to say, is that it's not what it's cranked up to be. And guys like Elon Musk, who are out there warning people about the dangers of AI and all that stuff, and the singularity. They don't know AI. They pretend they do. They don't. Because they don't know consciousness. They don't understand this. They don't understand life. They're material. They're living in the material world. Okay? And so to them, the bioelectric brain. I mean, let's look at Elon Musk's project. He has that idea where he thinks he's going to drill a hole through people's skull, put these little feeler things into parts of the brain, and hope he's going to activate things and communicate, whatever. Which is fine if you're connecting to like a motor function. So say someone who can't move their hand and you're able to find the control that lifts the arm up and down. That's all great. And people have been doing that kind of research for years. There's people that can move a cursor by thought, So so that he's building on existing concepts and technology. So that aspect of it is fine. But that's not what he's talking about when he's like, it's this fear of AI type of, craziness. He doesn't understand that the human brain is already light years beyond AI. And I know, and I wrote this book, Codex, right? Where ultimately in there, because it's just, it asks more questions than answers, but it's thought-provoking. That's the whole idea. And it's a short read. Get it, Codex. It's a flow of consciousness. There's some of it's autobiographical. Just me talking about stuff. And I'm going to write another one this year to finish out the whole series. I'm going to have 10 books. I have 9 books now. It's going to be 10 books, and that's that. And that one's going to be a complete flow of consciousness. And I already told you the title of it's going to be A Man Out of Time. That's the title of it. So, yeah, don't be afraid of AI, because AI it's childish. And I've dealt with it, and I've seen it. It's the same with these algorithms. See, this is this whole idea of being involved in the first person. It's one thing to be like an engineer, all right, and these people who opine on these issues. But it's a different thing for real world usage. You see? It's like many times, people aren't even aware of this, but I mean, just over the centuries, you could say, but definitely over the decades, there have been great minds, scientists and engineers and people that have developed these things, and then for a purpose, and their purpose was always good. But then when it was put into real world use, it was a total failure, and in some instances caused disasters, even death. And it's the same with these. I mean, this happens with drugs all the time. I mean, look at how many drugs the FDA approves, and then how many commercials there are by law firms. I say this all the time on TV, that are saying, if you took that drug, contact a law firm of such and such, and you're entitled to, whatever. How many products? It's like these weed killers and stuff that cause cancer, but they're still selling them at the box stores, right? I got to worry about this lady next door, because she's obsessed with cutting down. She's like one of these people like fear of weeds or something. So for all I know, she's over there spraying carcinogenic stuff, because I know she's got it. And we get a good rain, and that gets in the groundwater, and it comes into my garden, and I'm eating salads and tomatoes and stuff, and I'm basically I've already had cancer, right? And so I'm dead, because she's afraid of a fucking weed. Who cares about a weed? It's like people in dandelions. I tell you that story. Dandelions actually serve a purpose. I mean, I've said this before, just to make the point. A dandelion, it's like this whole thing where I say, hey kid, it ain't your planet anyway. This isn't our planet. This is the planet of the trees, the grass, the flowers, right? All the plants, all the flora. That's the world we live on. It's a world of that, of oceans and that. It's not a human planet. Even if you're like a devout religious person, you believe, God placed man in the Garden of Eden, or placed, whatever. You know what I mean? It's not our planet from no matter what perspective you look at it. Well, anyway, but the planet isn't totally in tune with itself. It's through these fungi, basically mushroom networks that, span states and are interconnected with trees and plants. Like, they know what's going on. A dandelion will come up when a soil is either too impacted and to loosen the soil. And if it's weak, and I think it's nitrogen, I forget which. I don't pretend to be like a botanist and, an expert in this stuff. But I've studied this stuff enough. But again, like I say, I'm not a memorizer. I just know the concept. In other words, I know that a dandelion serves a purpose. And that purpose is to loosen the soil for impacted soil. All right. B, to be the first plant that actually has a flower on it for the bees, the pollinators, to be able to get pollinate when they first start coming out of their hives, all right, after the winter, the first bees. That's what it serves. It serves a purpose because the plants need to be pollinated. And B, those leaves have that thing, whether it's the nitrogen or whatever it is, and they need to decay into the ground and provide that missing nutrient from the soil. So there's three things that a dandelion serves. So if you see dandelions in your lawn, just let them be, or just mow over them, you know, after a while. But if it's early in the season, let them be there for a while, especially if you're a gardener, because you know, you want to make sure that those honeybees survive and have some early, you know, I just saw like a circle thing. YouTube is not receiving enough video. And I'm talking about dandelions. My upstream is just about quit. Takes the wind out of your sails. I'm looking at the, you know, what's the recording, and it's basically I'm frozen over there. And my CPU usage is up to like 20-some%. My frame usage is way down. I don't know what's going on, man. Well, anyway, you know, it takes the wind out of your sails. Trying to share this information with you. About nature. That's verboten. Now I have an excellent connection. Anyway, whatever I was saying. So the one thing I'm glad about, whatever point I was trying to make before, and I was thinking about it yesterday when I was trying to show you this, whichever one it was, this 1,000 record covers, beer, cigar, listening to music, you know, fantasy about the past and stuff, is that the one thing I've always had in my life is music. And I'll always have that with me until the day I die. And if the power grid goes out, you never see me again, right? I have these solar chargeable things that could charge my my music, my little mini amps, which I showed you. I have mini amps that use very little power. And so I could sit there, and I've got candles. You saw the picture. I'll just show you. And so I, you know, and I have stuff to brew my own beer if I want to. So, you know, I've got a garden. It's got more food in it right now than I have no idea what to do with it. People say, oh, give it to charity. Well, there's no charities around here. Besides, they're giving out so much food. I know somebody who's got an EBT card that somehow they got $800 in it. You know, I'm getting it twice a month because I live below the poverty line. You know, I think that program's part of the program, the extra bonus part is going to end soon, but the point is, there's so much food. No one needs starve in the US of A. Okay? No one needs starve in the US of A. Now, I watch people use those EBT cards, which is, for you who don't understand what that is, it's an electronic benefits transfer for food. It's the equivalent of what a food stamp used to be. Okay? And I see people using those in the store, and instead of buying like things to fill their pantry, healthy foods, produce and stuff like that, they're buying like frozen pizzas, bags of chips, right? Sugar, type of products and salt, weird stuff like that. But the point is, no one need go hungry in this country. No one. There's a program, that program's in place, and they are literally just throwing out the money. And on top of that, they have these places where people could go and just pick up, bags of groceries and stuff. And if you can't get out, they accept your EBT card and they'll deliver it to your house, deliver food to your house within like an hour or two. So there's no excuse. Well, the poor don't have vehicles and they can't get to the store. Well, guess what? All they have to do, because they get a free phone, they got the free, what they call it, the Obama phone or something. They sent me one of them. I don't use it. Right? It's an Android phone, and I don't use smartphones to begin with. But you could get the app for that, these Instacart and these delivery places on there. So people could just order their food, right? And it'll come delivered right to their front door. So that's why I always wondered. And the other thing about this is, another thing, just to get on this thing, and I'm going to end this soon. When people talk about health care, like as if it's an issue in the U.S., there's no one, if you are poor, if you're below the poverty line, you get absolutely 100% free health care. Like, no copay. No nothing. You can have I've had an operation, all right, with a Johns Hopkins doctor, all right, for cancer. I had a kidney operation. I've gone through some hard stuff. It's hard to believe, I keep a positive attitude about everything. But I didn't pay a penny for that. And so that's what these are those things, like I say, firsthand experience that people just don't, they tell you these things. If you watch the news and you're on social media, you have this whole different view of life. And before I was talking about the Elon Musks and these people afraid of AI and algorithms and all that stuff. It's like they're not living in the real world, but people in the real world know different. Now there are liars that somebody from a news thing will come out and stick a microphone in somebody's face and they'll lie for the cause, right? But they're lying. They're lying because there is no one in America that is starving, right? Unless they're a fool. If you're homeless, you can still apply, for benefits. No, they don't care. You could still get health care, free health care, if you're poverty stricken. They never tell people that. And people who have good jobs, right? Well, they have great, when I had good jobs, I always had great health care. So I never had a problem either, Like I say, I consciously decided to do this because I wanted to retire and live free. So I got a cheap house, my mortgage, taxes, and insurance are less than $200 a month. I say it every day almost. Because I wanted to be free. I didn't want to have stress in my life. And I wanted to have my own private house, disconnected from any other neighbor. And I wanted to grow a garden. and do all that stuff and play loud music if I want to, which goes back to the loudspeaker, made loud to be played loud. So, you know, all these things, and they say, well, there are certain people who are like, you know, don't have. Yeah, there's like some people in the middle, you know, in some, you know, there's a small group. It's a very small group of people. But remember, that was made by the people who created that Obamacare. They were the ones that created that group, and they never provided for it. So my advice to them is, do what I did. If you're not getting, you know, just retire then. If you're making like a couple of $1,000s only over the poverty line, and you're working every day, and you got varicose veins, and you're stressed out to the max, well then just stop working, right? You know? And then you'll get free health care and free food. They'll even give people free lodging, you know, Section 8 housing. Or some people get like rental allowances or something weird like that. You know, or mortgage allowances or something. They'll give you cash for that. There are so many social services. There is such an incredible... Remember that stupid guy with the question mark suit used to be on TV, and he had these big books he was trying to sell about all these government programs there are that half the people don't collect on. It's like there's a ton of that stuff, you know. My furnace, I always paid because there's a place across the street that does repairs. I have them clean my furnace every year before the season. And when they cleaned my furnace this year, they said that these certain burners were going, you know, it's a gas furnace or something. And they needed to be repaired, and it was like $400 or $500. And I didn't want to dish out that kind of money because, quite frankly, I didn't have it. So I contacted through this program that I apparently qualify for, and they sent over somebody literally like the next day from some, you know, somebody who has a contract with them. And the guy went down, and I don't know, he was here for a couple hours, and he put some new part in my furnace and stuff. I had to sign like about 10 different spots along this thing, you know. It's like paperwork. Bureaucrats, they love paperwork, right? Then there was a follow-up phone call, and I had to almost repeat what I told the guy. But the fact of the matter was, they fixed my furnace for free. You know, I got a thing for taxes, you know, like some kind of city tax, whatever thing. And I said, hey, I'm retired now, blah, blah, blah. You know, and I sent in this thing to them and checked on the IRS website and said, yeah, if you're retired, you're living below the poverty line, you don't have to pay taxes. You don't have to file a tax form if you're not making, if your income is below the poverty line, you don't have to file taxes. And then there's this group called HELPS. And I should give these guys a free plug because it's called HELPS. I believe it's helps.org. I think I literally broke my big toe this morning. But it saved me from falling, like totally falling and probably breaking my skull. I don't see any blood, but I bet you it's black as hell. Tripped on something. There's this thing, if you have credit card, if you have credit card debt, and you're if you're on Social Security, say somebody's on Social Security, and you have, say you have credit card debt, doesn't matter how much. You don't need to go to one of these places where you try to pay off this stuff. I wasted like 5 years. I was paying money, and it ended up I was paying money, and all the money was going to this company instead of paying off my debtors, right? So a friend of mine turned me on to this place, helps.org, I think. Let me double check, make sure that's the right name, because this is very important. If you have a parent or grandparent, let's say helps.org. Let's see. No. What is the name of that website? What is their website? Hold on. Helps. Let me see. I'm gonna have to open my email for a while. Hopefully it doesn't like freak out this thing, because I don't want to provide you with the wrong information. Come on. All right. It's helpsishere.org. Okay? Helps, plural. All right? helpsishere.org. Look that up. Now, you sign. It's a non-profit law firm, and what they do is, the thing is, if you are on Social Security, or if you have a parent on Social Security or a grandparent on Social Security, and they can't pay, and they've got credit card bills and debts that are like causing them stress and hanging over their head, the law states that they don't have to pay that debt if they're on Social Security. And all they do, this group, they ask for like maybe $10 a month. It's like kind of fee donation just for the paperwork type of thing. Helpsishere.org. And what they'll do is, anytime you get a collection letter or these bills, you send it to them, and they'll send a letter saying this man or woman is on Social Security and is fixed income and is unable to pay that bill. We represent them. Don't bother them anymore. Whatever. And they can't put a lien. You're allowed to have twice your Social Security. Whatever your Social Security income is, you can have twice that amount in a bank account, and they can't touch that or put some kind of lien on it or whatever it is. And depending on your state, there are these homestead laws and stuff in many states, not all. But they can't take your home or your car or anything like that either. It's one of those other things the news media just doesn't want to deal with. That's law. Those are laws that have been passed over the years to protect senior citizens, or disabled veterans, disabled people in general, people on disability, Social Security, that kind of thing. So what I'm trying to get at is that, it's a further reinforcement of all these lies that they have out there. And how they say build back better or save America. And I'm going, save what? Because they're not really, they never really dealt with the fact that I bring up this idea that you still have 20,000 people a year, homicides committed in this country. That number didn't go down under any administration. Okay? It didn't go down. The inner cities aren't being repaired under this administration, and they weren't under the last either, or the one before that. Not really. They had ideas and programs and different things, but it didn't happen. And if it does happen, it's a photo op, you know, it's rhetoric, you know, it's something to talk about on TV, right? A bunch of politicians in front of a microphone in front of the Capitol building. And that's all it is. You know, there's still like unbelievable amounts of murders in places like Chicago and New York. The rents are still too high. There was a guy in New York years ago, I remember. It was about 20 years ago almost. And the party he was running for mayor on, or city council, whatever he was running for, it was called the Rent's Too Damn High Party. The Rent is Too Damn High Party. You know. So what I'm trying to get at is that, you know, live your life. You know, you're sitting around spending half your day on Twitter, Facebook, right? Or all day with the TV on, hooked up to these channels of these agitators, these people trying to divide you, create, you know, weird things, you know, things that don't exist, that haven't existed, right? You know, only exist in their mind, and now they exist in your mind. When the fact of the matter is, find something that you like and just do it. It's like me. I had a nice time listening to really good music yesterday. In my bar having a beer and a cigar. If that's not your thing, I'm sure you have a thing. And if you don't, find something. You know, you might be luckier than I am, you know, go visit a friend and just sit down and have conversation. You know, I miss that. I don't have anybody to converse with, really. But you know, there's people that like to go hiking. You know, I don't have a car, right? But people have cars. I always tell people, you know, if I had a car, I'd probably, you know, I gave up my license. I don't do that stuff anymore. I enjoy living at this level because I'm free and I don't have stress. You know, there's certain things you sacrifice, but those sacrifices aren't that great in the grand scheme of things compared to the stress and the hassle and the bullshit that you'd have to put up with. But you know, most people have cars. So it's like, if you have a car, why are you sitting around watching TV? Right? Just get in your car and go somewhere. You know, go walk through, you know, if you're a guy, you know, go. I know what I would do. If I had a car right now, this morning after the show, I'd probably just go like to one of the box, you know, Lowe's, or, you know, actually Lowe's and Home Depot are next to each other. I'd probably just go drive up there and just walk through the aisles looking at stuff. You know, thinking about things I could, you know, get, looking for, you know, maybe looking for that gadget, you know, that switch for the speaker I was telling you about, you know, some kind of low watt, you know, micro watt type of speaker to lower the speaker volume in my WC. You know, another person might want to go to, you know, other kinds of places to go to. I know the malls aren't the malls anymore, but there's still stores and stuff. Like I say, you know, there's people who like hiking, people who like parks. Some people live in beautiful areas. You know, this is a beautiful country. You know, there's a lot of people. You know, the major population centers are along the coastal regions. So it's like, if I were that close, because I always lived, I spent the better part of my life living on the East Coast and the West Coast, right? With ocean view. Always had ocean view. And was able to go, you know, either look at the ocean from my, you know, overlook, or I was close enough to just walk along the beach or boardwalk, wherever I was. And, you know, so do that. You know, instead of watching, you know, some Fox or MSNBC. You know, there's a million things you can do, and people don't think about that stuff anymore. You know, if you're a musician, you know, well, here it is, you know. I mean, I could sit around and play guitar all day, too, if I wanted to. You know, or computers. Mess around with computers, build websites, you know, design stuff. If you're an artist, paint something. You know, I mean, you know, whatever. Garden, you know, or this. I mean, I shouldn't even have to say this stuff. But instead, people are caught up and they're just like sitting there thumbing on these little devices, or, you know, or on their computer, or staring at some TV, big screen TV, while hearing somebody complain. You know? It's like, stop it. I mean, I complain when they, you know, they throttle me, which is pretty obvious. I still have like one, there's nobody, it goes against the law of probability and statistics, that not even a random person would have even just like out of curiosity clicked on this, right? Because it's listed under the live category. So yeah, I'll complain sometimes about that, but I mean, you know, otherwise I'm singing, I've seen the bright lights of Memphis. So, you know, live your life. Experience life. You got all these senses. Like I say, it's a soul experience. It's a consciousness experience. You know, be yourself, live your life, be happy. When you have a day without pain, you know, cherish it. Cherish the moment. Try to extend that moment. I mean, instead of like, do you want to be like me? Well, yeah, well, that's being like me. That's being like me. But I mean like this. Yeah. How would you like that? That's how I've been living for the past couple months. You know? And last year, a year and a half ago, was like in and out of the hospital for 6 months. And having a doctor tell you, you have cancer. Yeah, and it's like the bad, you know, it's pretty much the worst one you could, you know, like your Gleason score is like the highest it could be. So, like, you know, cherish the moment. And if you're a family person and you have kids, and you got a, you know, wife, or you're in a relationship, I mean, man, just exchange, have fun with them. So I don't feel sorry for anybody because, like I said, I've been at rock bottom many times in my life, and I've always managed to, as much as I hated it, as difficult as it was, I managed to like rise above it. And now I'm consciously down at the point where I'm like, I'm at the poverty level and it's fine, I'm free, I don't have to worry about it. Do I wish I had a few other things? Yeah, you know, but what am I gonna do about it? Roll up in a ball and cry? No, I'm going to listen to some music, right? I'm going to go out in my garden before it gets too hot. I'm going to try to soak up some vitamin D3, you know, get some sun, you know. These microphones, they make them, you know, so they like, they look all fancy schmancy, but really they're just pieces of junk. So anyway, I guess that's about it, you know. I don't have anything else to say other than good morning. We'll end it there. Thank you for tuning into the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Right. Visit TonyCaravanLive.com. Anyone ever sees this thing, and get one of my shirts. Everything you know is wrong. You don't know what you don't know. Then what? Game over. You know. They come in hoodies, t-shirts, men's, women, all sizes. If you're ginormous person, I've got sizes for you. If you're petite, we've got sizes for you. Go to greatsolarstuff.com. But if you go to TonyCaravanLive.com, there's links to everything there, including my local site where you could donate, you know, money. If you have Bitcoin, donate money. Hey, Elon Musk, donate some money. You know, contact me. I'll straighten you out on some of these things. Anyway, that's that. I wish you all a good week, and I'll probably talk to you tomorrow.